Hello, beautiful friends. Y'all look great, and we love that you're tuning into our favorite streaming channel today, all day.
We're halfway through the week, SG. Halfway there. Hump day. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of our digital show. Today in 30, we have a packed half hour ahead.
Yeah, and our top story is this extreme weather is being felt from coast to coast. Brutal heat impacting 133 million people. Severe storms in the Midwest, and now Tropical Storm Fred posing a threat to the south. Mr. Roker will be along. He's tracking all of it for us.
And then one of our favorite Olympians, Ledecky, considered one of the greatest swimmers of all time. She stopped by for a visit on the plaza. We're going to share our chat about adding to her legacy in Tokyo.
And then someone else stopped by our plaza, Sarah Bareilles, what she told us about making her return to Broadway and one of our favorite shows on Peacock, Girls 5 Eva. Love it.
And if you're looking to have a picnic with your friends, but you're a little stumped about what to bring, our friend Matt Abdu with some great ideas. So let's pack it up. Let's get started here on
Today in 30.
We're going to start this morning with extreme weather from coast to coast, including 133 million people now under heat advisories this morning, conditions that could cause some severe storms in a number of areas.
And overnight Tropical Storm Fred forming near Puerto Rico and putting Florida and other parts of the South on alert as we head into this weekend. Al, we said you got a busy one, and you sure do. But let's get to NBC's Kristen Dahlgren first, who's in Central Park, which is under a rare excessive heat warning this morning. Kristen, good morning to you.
Good morning, Savannah. You can probably see behind me as we go through this, some New Yorkers getting in their early morning workouts before the heat gets too oppressive. That alert was issued for today and tomorrow. Temperatures could feel as hot as 105 degrees, but it's not just here in the Northeast. This heat expected to stretch across the country.
This morning, sweltering conditions threatening millions from coast to coast.
This is dangerous heat and humidity.
In New York City, a rare excessive heat warning now in effect.
The next few days are not just your regular hot August summer day in New York. They will be extremely dangerously hot, and people need to take precautions.
Boston's acting mayor declaring a heat emergency through the end of the week.
Please stay hydrated and drink plenty of fluids, especially water.
And it's not just the east. Out west, people from Washington state to Northern California are expecting scorching temperatures soaring into the triple digits. Some cities are already dealing with conditions 10 to 20 degrees above average. Cooling centers and misting stations are open in Oregon. The governor there declaring a state of emergency. The dangerous weather also ramping up new concerns for wildfires across western states. California's massive Dixie Fire, which has burned hundreds of thousands of acres, has already decimated entire communities, with even more in its path. This as brutal extreme weather leaves its mark on the Midwest. Hundreds of thousands without power after storms hit Michigan and Wisconsin. And in rural Illinois, residents picking up the pieces after dangerous tornadoes touched down Monday.
It's really scary how quick it can happen.
Megan Gerwig believes tornado alerts on her phone may have saved her family's lives.
We may not have been watching for it and may not have known it was there.
And officials want to remind people this heat can be deadly. Stay cool, stay hydrated. And while it's not that hot out here yet, I can tell you it is super humid. I feel like my hair has grown 3 sizes just while we've been standing out here. Al, Savannah can use that as a new forecasting tool if you'd like.
Good idea, Kristen. We all have that. It's a little soupy out there.
Yeah, for more now on the severe weather, that tropical storm that formed overnight, and the heat that Kristen was just talking about. Mr. Roker?
Yeah, guys, we're talking literally coast to coast. We've got a triple threat. We've got, of course, a lot of heat. Temperatures going to be in the triple digits for parts of the Pacific Northwest into Northern California. Then we go into the mid-plains, into the Northeast, 133 million people. Heat index is up to 110. The hottest days are going to be tomorrow into Thursday, into Friday. Look at these heat indexes. Cincinnati today, 101, 111 in St. Louis and Memphis. Shreveport, 106, D.C., 105. And look at over the next 3 days. We cool off by Saturday, but in the meantime, temperatures mid to upper 90s. You factor in the humidity, and it's going to feel like triple digits for Charlotte, Cincinnati, Nashville, on into Little Rock, even into New York and Washington, D.C. We will see some cooling, but we also have severe weather today. 27 million people, damaging winds, hail, tornadoes from the upper Midwest into the central Midwest. And then for tomorrow, a severe threat from Burlington, Pittsburgh, on into Kansas City for damaging winds. Fred right now, 115 miles east-southeast of Santo Domingo, 40-mile-per-hour winds, moving north-northwest at 16. The track brings it over Puerto Rico, and then by Saturday into the Gulf. But look at the cone of uncertainty. Miami, Key West, Orlando, Tampa. We are talking about the possibility of an intensification once it gets into the Gulf. Tropical storm watches and warnings. Rainfall amounts upwards of 6 to 8 inches as you get into Puerto Rico. But look at the heavy rain as we get on into Florida and on into parts of southern Georgia. This could be even more as this thing starts to develop and gets into the Gulf. We'll continue to track it.
We turn now to the new COVID crisis here in the United States that is worsening by the day. Parts of the South are experiencing a record surge in cases. The highly contagious Delta variant now tied to 93% of cases nationwide. And with schools reopening, the showdown is intensifying in several states where governors are banning mask mandates. NBC's Kerry Sanders joins us now from one of those battlegrounds, Florida. Kerry, good morning.
Well, good morning, Craig. Florida reports just in the last week a 24% increase in the number of kids testing positive for coronavirus. So while nationwide children represent a small portion of the overall COVID cases, the concern, of course, is that they are seeing these increases. And these increases are happening, as you noted, as governors are ordering no mask mandates. It's why some states have decided, despite what hospitals are saying, which is they're needed, they're saying there must be a mask mandate and kids must wear them to protect themselves. This morning, the COVID crisis accelerating across the South. Florida, Texas, Missouri, and Arkansas seeing their largest single-day spike in hospitalizations since the pandemic began. Still, Republican governors in 7 states have banned mask mandates. President Biden calling that counterintuitive.
Do you have presidential powers to intervene in states like Texas and Florida where they are banning mask mandates?
I don't believe that I do thus far. We're checking that.
This as infections continue to grow among kids. In Mississippi, nearly 1,300 students and staff have tested positive for COVID just days into the new school year. Now, some districts are fighting back. In Texas, where the governor banned mask mandates, Dallas schools are requiring them anyway.
There are no more beds in Dallas public hospitals for students that may have the virus. I would rather be safe than sorry.
In Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis has threatened to cut the salaries of any superintendent or school board member that defies his no mask mandate order. In Collier County, masks in schools are optional.
Are you going to wear your mask today?
If everyone in my class is wearing a mask, I will wear a mask.
But with pediatric cases surging, many of Florida's largest school districts are defying the governor and mandating masks.
I think it's a moral obligation.
As for vaccines and kids, only a fraction of eligible teens have gotten one. Florida mom Pilar Villarraga planned to get her daughter Sophia vaccinated last week on her 12th birthday. But just days before, Sophia tested positive for COVID. The healthy athlete quickly developing pneumonia and coughing up blood.
I thought that I was going to lose her. That was my worst fear, that I didn't know what could happen next.
After spending 6 days in the hospital, Sophia with a message for other teens.
If you can get vaccinated, you should, because what I went through, it wasn't fun, and nobody wants to go through that.
I mean, Kerry, it's troubling on so many levels. And here's the thing. I mean, with this increase in cases among kids, there's still a lot we do not know about the long-term effects of COVID on children, right?
Yeah, in fact, several medical centers are studying what they call long COVID cases in teens. One study showed that in teens, about 1 in 10 have long-term effects of brain fog, memory loss, and fatigue. And perhaps most troubling is in those numbers there, many of those people had a mild case of COVID and still had those impacts, Greg.
Kerry Sanders for us there in Florida. Kerry, thank you. The U.S. swimming star Katie Ledecky capturing even more hearts and medals during those Tokyo Olympics, adding a pair of gold and 2 silvers to an already impressive collection.
And this morning, we're so happy she's paying a visit to our plaza in New York. Katie, it's so good to see you in person. I mean, we're used to being able to see you at the Olympics, but we were cheering you from afar. We came to a lot of your meets. The Ledecky family couldn't be there, so we tried to do our best to cheer for you. How was it? How was your Tokyo experience?
It was incredible. It was so much fun. I enjoyed each of my races, was happy with how I performed, and I think it kind of surprised me how normal it felt, even without all the fans. My teammates were cheering hard for each race, and that made it feel more normal.
Here's the thing. I mean, you've been such an impressive swimmer for so long, but you made a debut in an event at the Olympics that I did not fully appreciate until I watched it live. The 1500. That's a beast of an event. How long were you in the water for that one?
A little over 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
15 and a half minutes, yeah.
And you crushed it, winning gold for the first time. How do you train for an event like that?
We train pretty hard. I swim 10 times a week, 3 times in the weights room, and just putting in a lot of work. So Team USA, we went 1-2 in that event, which was a great way to start.
It's funny because in Tokyo, I asked Katie what she was going to do after Tokyo. She said, oh, I'm going to take a break, maybe 2 weeks. I just asked her a second ago, how's your break going? Oh, when were you in the pool again? When was the last time you were in the pool, Katie?
I had to go to my summer pool, and I went and swam a couple laps, not very much.
2 days ago.
Very easy.
Oh, my God, no floaties.
I have to get my exercise in every day, or else I feel funny.
Katie, you've always got this inner glow, this joy. Where does that come from?
Oh, I think it just comes from my family and my love of the sport and the people that I'm surrounded with, my teammates at Stanford, my coach, Greg Meehan, so many people that have made this journey so much fun. And I feel like each Olympics, I'm having more and more fun each time. So that's why I'm going to keep going.
You have so much medal hanging around you, and yet the weight seems light on you, Katie. You really just seem like you've got it all in perspective. Cheryl, you got a crowd question?
We have a lot of fans out here on the plaza, including Lauren from Avon, Connecticut. Lauren, what's your question for Katie?
Hi, Katie. My question is, in 10 years, when you're holding your Olympic medals, what specific memories will stand out to you?
Oh, wow. I think I'm just going to remember all of the little moments in between the medals. I think especially from this past Olympics, I'll remember the relay that I was on and being with my teammates for the hours before that relay. One of my teammates, Allison Schmidt, who won her 10th medal at the Tokyo Olympics, I was on that relay with her, and the hours leading up to that relay, she was just every 5 minutes giggling and yelling and so excited to be on that relay, and that really fired me up. And it's those little moments that I'll remember with my teammates.
Well, speaking of little moments that we all remember, you know, we have to bring up, we consider you family around here, Katie. We think that we grew up with you, and there's a reason for that. Can we roll a tape from, I think from 1998?
I was 1 year old.
Where's this little one from?
She's from Maryland.
How old is she?
She's 16 months.
What's her
Katie Ledecky and Michael Ledecky.
All righty, everybody got the hellos.
Wow.
Katie Ledecky on this plaza. It's pretty incredible.
It is. My grandma is in New York, and so my mom was just telling the story to me. She remembers the cab ride that she took over here, and that I was up early in the morning, so she said, let's go down to the plaza. So
that just means we could have Olympians on this plaza right now.
Exactly.
And not even know it.
Exactly.
You know, here's the thing about Katie, by the way, and it all makes sense once you start talking to her family. Katie Ledecky is an amazing person, and if we can get a shot of her family over there. The Ledecky clan, I know.
We love the Ledecky.
The Ledecky clan, the classiest of acts, so it all makes sense. There's your Uncle John.
Really lovely. In fact, they were yelling at me in Central Park a couple of years ago.
I saw you biking. I was worried you were going to fall off your bike when you heard us yelling, "Al, it's Katie and Mary Jen."
Oh, we'd love having you stop by. Enjoy that break that you're having, and we know you'll be back. You already told us you're coming back for 2024, right?
I hope so.
And maybe beyond.
Oui.
I hope so.
Okay, thank you so much.
Hey, it's Sarah Bareilles from Waitress and Girls Forever, and you're watching Today Ready.
Sarah Bareilles is live with us on the plaza.
Sarah is back on Broadway. We love hearing that. She's starring as Jenna, of course, in her Tony-nominated musical Waitress.
Waitress, one of the longest-running shows in recent Broadway history, and it's back for a limited engagement starting September 2nd. Sarah, it is so great to have you.
Good morning. I want to thank you officially for putting me next to Olympic athletes.
I was like, I've never felt like... But if you're talking about people at the top of their craft, you're at the top of their craft.
That's right. If there was an Olympic medal for performing, you would have it, especially on this show because you've been with us for so long. But this is so terrific. It's got to be a bit of an honor that now that Broadway is coming back, and there are so many shows that could have been chosen to come back, but you guys are one of the first. What does that feel like?
Oh, I mean, it's a tremendous honor. When we got the opportunity to be a part of sort of like the welcoming committee of Broadway shows, inviting people to come back into the theater, putting people back to work, and trying to do it in a new way, more intentionally, and of course safely for everybody. It's just, you know, it's a joy. The show is the love of my life, so that's why they can't kick me out. They're like, how many times are you going to do the show? Oh,
People love it. I've seen it 4 times. Like, I've literally, it's insane. So there's this great video I want to show people at home of the cast. They're rehearsing one of the first numbers of the show, opening up. What did it feel like to be back with that group of people? You're playing Jenna again. You guys are all together again. What was that like?
It was so surreal. I mean, you see us, this is literally the first time we sang the song together, and we're all back, and so many people of our cast are you know, returning members. This is a real family for us. So to get to be back in the room together was truly magical. It was magical.
And speaking of family, I know Waitress was hit especially hard through the pandemic, losing beloved castmate Nick Cordero to COVID. I mean, what does it mean not only to be one of the shows back, but to have the whole cast kind of, I mean, go out there and do it for him?
Yeah, it was, you know, one of the first things we discussed when we were all back in the room together, and we're talking about different ways we want to honor him, you know, through the life of the show, and working with his wife Amanda, and just you know, Broadway lost a really bright light, and our Waitress family will never be the same, but you know, we got to know him and to love him, and that's such a gift, and reminds us all how short life is and how precious.
Absolutely. And one of the joys of getting through the pandemic was Girls 5 Eva.
5 Eva.
Yeah, it's already been picked up for season 2. Tell me about, you know, performing in an ensemble like this, and even getting to write some music for it.
I mean, if you told me this was coming, you know, down the pipeline for me, I would not have believed you. To get the phone call from Tina Fey and be like, do you want to join these extraordinary people and make this hilarious show with Meredith Scardino, our creator showrunner, Paula Bell, Busy Phillips, Renee Lee Goldsberry. I mean, it's just a gift. I never saw it coming. It's been so much fun. I laughed every day, and we worked on the show in the heat of the pandemic, so we were all so grateful to be with people that we didn't live with every day. You know what I mean?
And it was so well received. That's the thing. You know what I mean? We longed for it. So before you leave, we can't let you go without talking about pie. One of my favorite parts of the show. I feel like it's a character in Waitress. No question about it, really.
It really, really is.
Really? Okay, so this pie is a chocolate mousse with strawberries. What would that symbolize for Jenna?
Oh, this is decadence. This is sensuality. This is her sort of discovering pleasure.
Ooh.
Let's put it that way.
Let me tell you,
I want to give a shout out to Stacey Donnelly.
I was just about to say, who does these?
Stacey Donnelly. She is our pie genius.
They're so good,
They
guys.
are really here.
And look, we got little mini ones.
I'll take a
eat
mini
them
one.
out of a jar. This one's probably. You want chocolate? Or
Yes,
you want,
I want
okay.
chocolate.
Give the pregnant lady the whole pie.
But seriously, when you go to the show, you get these little pies, and they're so good. Every time I say, okay, I'm going to save it at least for the first act.
Yeah.
And it's always gone before you guys even start.
No, and you can use these again and again.
And the great part is when you go in, they start baking a pie.
Oh my gosh!
So that you smell pie in the theater.
That's how they get that smell.
Exactly, it's a real pie.
And Al knows he was one of our beloved cast members as playing Old Joe, the diner owner. And I was just saying before the camera started rolling how beloved you were in our cast. So
Could you still sing
wonderful.
No, not probably.
Yes, you
probably.
could.
But what I will say is that you guys, the cast, couldn't have been more welcoming, because I was worried. It's like, who's this jerk coming in? You know.
He's Al Roker.
He's Al Roker.
There we go.
That's right there. Look at you.
It was so wonderful.
Yeah.
I got to do it with Jordan Sparks, and what a terrific time. Thank you so much, and thank you for bringing this thing back, because it's so much joy. It's what
It is. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it really is. And there's pie.
Yeah.
By the way, catch up on Girls 5 Eva streaming on Peacock. Waitress opens up on September 2nd. So much goodness. Thank you so much.
I love it.
Okay, the weather's going to be good, and you're
neck of the woods this weekend, go ahead and check that picnic lunch off your summer bucket list.
We have just the guy to help fill your picnic basket. Matt Abdu is the executive chef and owner of Pig Beach in Brooklyn, and soon also to be in Long Island City and Palm Beach, Florida this fall. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We've got a lot of exciting things in the works. We're super excited to be back here, though.
I know.
How cool is that?
See you, and you're looking fit.
Thank you. We're working on all of those good health things, you know, but trying to get there. But we got some beach snacks and lunches to bring today,
so what
right?
should we do? You say a crunchy chicken wrap is the way to go.
I'm a fan of chicken salad. I love chicken salad. Yeah. And I know it's going to be contentious, but I also love grapes in my chicken salad.
With you.
Some people like it. Some people don't.
You.
If you don't put them in. It's totally okay. But I also love making it with rotisserie chicken because it's like already done. It's already cooked. Who doesn't love rotisserie chicken? It's inexpensive. It's everywhere. So all we're going to do, we're going to really quickly just take some rotisserie chicken, break it down into the breast, the legs, the thighs, and we're just going to chop up the meat. There does not have to be anything sort of fancy. Just chop it up into little chunks or pieces, just like that. Yep. And then for the legs and thighs, just shred the meat. Really, really simple, really, really easy.
Okay.
Save the bones, because if you want to make soup later with it, you can put some water, carrots, onion, celery, make a really quick chicken stock, chicken broth. Sure. And then what we have here is all of our chicken meat.
Yeah.
Super easy. Next, to cut our grapes, we're going to give this little trick that everyone loves. This is the great hack. You can use it for cherry tomatoes. You can use it with grapes.
Are you scared for me?
I'm not scared for you. Go for it. You can do it.
So you put the grapes between two
deli containers that holds them in place, and then you can just serrate, slice. Jenna, look at you, girl.
Look at that. Now
I am so impressed.
It cut in half.
Well
and that's
done.
Clean cut. I've never seen that. That's so cool.
That's a high five right there.
That's great work. Good hack.
You're a sous chef. You're hired. All right, so now in our mixing bowl, we're going to take that rotisserie chicken meat, the whole chicken, everything we have. We're going to put it in our bowl with some plain old mayonnaise.
Of course.
And then to that, we're going to add just, a handful of grapes or so, whatever we want in there. I got a little hot sauce, whatever your favorite one is.
Yeah.
Some Dijon mustard. If you don't like Dijon, if it's too spicy for you, you can leave it out. You can even put a little yellow mustard in there if that's what you want. Some freshly chopped parsley.
Wow.
Fresh lemon juice. I love bright citrus to the chicken salad. It kind of just wakes it up, brings all those flavors nicely together. Some chopped shallots. This can be sliced scallions if you don't have shallots. And again, some crunch. Chicken salad crunch wraps. We got some smoked pecans to crunch those grapes.
I thought you were going to put some chips up in there.
Well, we're getting there.
We're not there
and
yet.
At least some chopped celery. So it's pretty much just standard chicken salad that we love. Get a little bit of salt and pepper, mix it all together, and then we're going to slide down over here, and we're going to put it into our wraps. Now, these are great. Any sort of wrap is a great thing to bring to the beach, just because it's self-contained, they're easy to eat.
Yes.
And once all of our meat gets all mixed together, we're just going to take a good spoonful of it. We're going to put it right in the center of our wrap. I have a spinach wrap here, but if you guys want tomato wraps or whole wheat wraps, whatever you can find.
Incredible.
But this is the kicker, guys. We're going to take some kettle cooked potato chips. We're going to crunch them up, put them right on top, and we're just going to wrap them up to give that extra crunchy effect to the wrap.
Oh, Matt.
And chicken salad crunch wraps, bring it to the beach, and you're good.
So good.
And you're good to go.
Okay, you pair this with your grandmother's eggplant.
This is Grandma Ruth's smoky eggplant puree. It's basically baba ganoush. It's one of the things that I grew up eating. I absolutely love it. You can make it, put it in a little deli container, put it in the cooler, bring it to the beach, put some pita chips or potato chips or veggies, dip it in and go nuts. And any good beach plan has to have a sweet treat at the end.
What do we got?
And what's better than a Blondie bar? But these are beach Blondie bars, Pig Beach Blondie bars.
Let's do one of those, Jenna.
You can get these at Pig Beach?
You can. They're on the sweets menu at Pig Beach right now. They're just basically a white brownie, guys. But in the middle of it, we have some butterscotch chips and white chocolate chips in there to really bring it all together.
Matt, this is so delicious.
Self-contained, easy, no mess.
By the way, how do you store these sandwiches so we don't ruin them?
So the best way to do it, guys, if you're going to make these sandwiches before you go to the beach, pre-make them without the chips, and then when you're ready, open them back up, put the chips in so the chips don't get soggy or stale.
Cream in the cooler.
That way they stay nice and crunchy.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Every bite is great.
I'm having this for lunch.
To get these recipes, you can head to today.com/food. Matt, thanks.
Thank you so much, Matt.
Well, we hope you'll come back and enjoy another great morning tomorrow on Today.
You know who's joining us tomorrow, by the way? Kristen Bell, Dax Shepard. They're going to join us to tell us all about their new NBC show, which actually looks pretty cool. Have a great day. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.